Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is the Film and Music Show. The star of our show, Dr. Madalene Chan, has the day off, so I have the privilege to introduce a very special guest. As Dr. Madalene Chan mentioned last week when we were here, even though the title of our show is Film and Music, we are welcoming creatives from various backgrounds and celebrating their work as they bring their positivity and their light to the rest of the world. Today, we have one such example as this gentleman is going to talk about the writing that he's created through poetry. Let's welcome Manoj Suna from India. Hello, welcome.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm really grateful to you. And hello, everybody.
It's so nice to have you with us. And you heard what I said in the beginning, that this is the Film and Music Show, but you're taking it to a new level. So I'm excited to explore the work that you've done and how and why you've done this. You are a teacher and a communication skill trainer from India. Tell us a little bit about that part of your background.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this great opportunity. At the outside of this interview, I'm really grateful to Dr. Jacalyn, the founder of USA Global TV president, and also Dr. Chan, who really gave me this opportunity to be part of such a wonderful interview. My name is Manoj Suna, and I am from the state of Odisha, from India. I'm a teacher by profession, but I'm a poet by my passion. Also, I work as a communication skill trainer, and I teach people on how they can speak English well. I got the instinct on writing English poems in a creative way in the year 2018, and it was a natural instinct. I didn't follow anybody or any poet, but rather I got a call from my inner side, and I started writing a variety of poems based on different social issues happening in our society in India and also in the universe. And when I wrote these poems, I posted them on Facebook, and so many people started liking. They gave comments, their own, feedbacks on my writings, and I got so much, idea, and I got this encouragement to write more, right? Because I do believe, as a creative writer, creative person, through writings, through words, I can influence so many people across the globe, because words have the power that can change, billions of people. And because of that, I wanted to keep on writing different, poems, highlighting different, stories, different problems, issues of our society, of a country and nation, about human beings, how the humans suffer, right? So these things I wanted to do and cultivate in me through my writing, and I have been doing this one since 2018. And I'm really happy to be a creative writer, and I just want to say to the world that we can give a different kind of ideas to the world through our creative work, and creative writing is one of them. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was a great answer. We explore on this platform, on many of our shows, mental health, wealth, and in being able to express yourself through poetry, has that helped you deal with some of the horrors that are in the world, or maybe some of the challenges that you've had in your own life?
Exactly. Yes, ma'am. Because I know poverty. I know I am from such a family that I know what is poverty. I know what is problem. I have seen it and experienced it since my childhood. And uh, perhaps it is a blessing and the power of God. I got it when I became so grown up. And when I was in class, in college, I didn't have any idea, any intention. But later, I could see what is suffering, what is problem, how people live in poverty. Okay, how people migrate to different countries in search of food only to survive in the world. So on that, or what is the role of woman in the society and how a woman is treated in such male-dominated society. So I thought about them. I pondered many a times on their issues. After that, I started, uh, writing about those issues.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm wondering how you've taken your own experience and motivated and engaged others through your skill as a teacher and trainer.
Yeah, one thing that being an intellectual person or being a teacher or any writer, what I from my experience, I just want to say that if I have something like any caliber, any skill, or any kind of quality that I can do, that if I share my experience with others, I think and I do believe if a person is benefited, if a person gets to learn something or gets to know something from experience, that gives me immense pleasure, that gives me immense joy, right? That's why I share my writings. I do share my feelings with others through my creative way, that is creative writing.
Excellent answer. Thank you. By the way, we have a couple of comments from people who are, one person actually. How do you say this person's name? Chitransan?
Now, yeah, exactly,
No.
he's my friend.
Oh, thanks for
Yeah.
watching. Oodles of congratulations. And also second comment, wonderful. Is your friend also in India?
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's from India, my friend.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for watching and for commenting. So I know that you have some of your work there. For people who are not familiar, this might seem like a strange question, but people out there don't know in some cases. What is a poem and how is it different from other forms of media?
Exactly. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this question. In my view, to my mind, when I think about this word poem, I think that poem is, poem is such a piece of literary work that a poet, whenever a poet writes a poem, there are words in a language. It may be English, Spanish, Chinese, French, or any other languages in the world. But the creative person or the poet, he brings the word together in such a way and arranges them together in such a creative way that gives an idea, that gives a sense, that gives a lesson to the readers or to the public and to the whole universe. And poem gives always a lesson, an advice, or a morality. It teaches us something about life. It teaches us something about what is happening in the society. Not only any lesson, rather it gives us many values, moralities. Okay, so poem has a powerful thing to change the world because it influences the minds of people whoever reads a poem. So to my mind, I think poem is to collect the words, to write the words of language in a creative way and giving a flavor of sense, giving a flavor of idea that has a meaning, that has a sense to the world. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. I love that explanation. And I'm just going to say hello again to your friend. Warm greetings from India. It's nice to have you back. Thank you. So, a
Yeah.
question I have about poems and about the lesson that comes through. When you are writing a poem, is it important to focus on one lesson or can you have more than one, or does the reader kind of get lost or the listener?
Yeah, that's right. That's a good question. Whenever I write any poem, particularly I focus on one, in a topic or in one issue. Particularly, I like to write on one any social or any issue. And on that, I think about a lot of time. Why the issue start? How does it start? Okay, what are the root causes of the issue? I think about it. I do research in my mind. Mentally, I concentrate. I meditate on the issue. After that, uh, I, I I start writing the words from the introduction to the conclusion. Okay, like suppose, for example, let's say now the war is going on between Ukraine and the Russia, right? These two countries, and the world is witnessing this war. So I think why the war happens, why the people want to go for a war, why not they go for peace, why they don't want to live in peace and harmony, right? What are the consequences of a war? When I think about it, automatically I get collected so many words in my mind, and I start putting them together in a systematic order so that that gives message of lesson to the whole world. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate what you just shared. And something that to me is in alignment with what you just said, and if it's perfectly with what you do, is the fact that across the world, people are not communicating at an effective level. People are not listening to each other. And I feel like that's part of the reason why we get into these situations, whether it's a war or it's the fact that people are so divided on certain issues because they only think their own perspective is the only one.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so as a teacher and as a trainer, how do you instruct people to be able to open their mind to listen to other people as opposed to just they're hearing, but they're not actually completely present?
Exactly. That's a very nice question, ma'am. Thank you so much. As a teacher, as an educator at a school, I always try my level best to not only to teach the subject of the topics already there in a book. Rather, I try to develop the creativity, the logical thinking, analytical skill of my students. Because why? The purpose of education is not to give the lesson or to teach only the mere things there in the books. Rather, we need to open their minds. We need to give such training to our students so that they can be, an able thinker. They can think in a creative way. They can think in a critical way. They can think in a very logical way. Because in future they are going to be the leaders. In future they are going to be the entrepreneurs. In future they are going to be the writers. In future they are going to lead the nation. That is the only thing that I always focus on the skills, not on only the lesson. Or I always try that how my students will be able to think creatively, logically, and very, in a very different way, because mind is such a powerful, thing. If we think, we become. Okay, so I always tell my students, you should be very different. You should not only work on your, to get marks in examination, okay, for any paper or in any subject. Rather, you should focus on your skills. You should focus on the development of your mental ability, because your mind will help you. Your mind will, the greatest part of your body that will, give you what an idea in future, and the idea will help you to lead your life in any sector, whatever the job you do, wherever you live. But your mind, mental ability should be strong enough to tackle any challenge or any kind of problem that you face in your professional or in your social life. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Very powerful words. I'm sure you're an excellent instructor. What are the age of the students typically that you teach?
I teach from 6th grade to 10th grade. Even I have taught college students. Sometimes I take online classes on different apps, and sometimes I do organize different webinars on language skills. But my intention is not only to teach English globally or teach English internationally, but I mean that learning a language is to learning a new culture. Like so many people say, you're a teacher and you're doing it for a job. No, I am not doing for the sake of job or for the sake of career. Rather, I just want to tell the world that through language we can reach to different parts of the world. Through language we can know one another culture. Through language we can know different traditions, different value system of other people, right? For example, if I teach English to my students, I tell them it's not only to know grammar, it's not only to know the words of language, English, but to know the culture of the English people, but to know what is happening around the world, but to be aware internationally, but to be very vigilant, mentally. So that's what I tell my students that through language we can reach to the unreached part of the globe. So that is a powerful part of English language to my mind. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. You speak English beautifully, by the way.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
I would love to have you read one of your poems for us.
Definitely, I'll be very glad to recite one of my poems. And here I have written one poem that is on migration. And the poem goes like this. It has four stanzas. The first one, here it starts, migrated to an unknown city in order to survive with family, abandoned native land for indefinite duration, just hope for food and shelter. Poverty has made life miserable. Starvation has brought sickness and weakness. No alternative but to be alive. Left kith and kin in search of food. Oh, poor folks cry for his destiny. No dream in his lifetime. Never they could wear good clothes. A life full of suffering and sorrows. Alas, an empty stomach does not see any taste. Can a creature ever survive without food? Melancholy man is no exception to this reality. Left his native land in search of food. This is typically the cry, the weeping of a poor fellow who leaves his own native land, his motherland, and goes to another place in search of food, not only for his own stomach, but for his whole family members. It is a prime duty of a family man to be survive and to make others family members alive. And how can he do that unless he works somewhere? So whatever job he gets in his life, he does it anywhere just to feed his family members. This is typically the miserable condition of a poor family, of a poor family man I have seen in my life in our village, in our area that so many people are living in very miserable, pathetic condition just for handful of rice, just for a handful of the food they struggle their whole life. So when I saw their crying, I wrote this poem. So poverty has made their life miserable. Poverty is such a bad condition of the human life that makes a man more miserable. It doesn't leave any option for a man, but a man becomes optionless whenever he or she lives in poverty and he leaves his own family members and he moves to another foreign land or another country, another place just to work and earn his livelihood. And just because his life is full of sorrows and suffering, a poor man sees nothing because there is a saying, an empty stomach doesn't see anything. Rather, it looks for food. Because unless it gets food, it cannot survive. That's what I have written here. And the last sentence that touches my heart so closely is that can a creature ever survive without any food? In the whole living organism, there are billions of creatures. Some are tangible, some are invisible. So everyone lives food stuff to survive. Likewise, a poor man does everything, leaves his own family members, suffers his whole life just to feed his family members because he wants always, he tries his best to make everyone alive by giving food to them. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My
Thank you.
pleasure, ma'am.
It's beautiful. I have a question related to what you wrote there. You were talking about poverty. And so here in the United States, we have people who come from all over the world because they believe that if they can get here, they can make it and life can completely change. And I know a lot of the work that I do as a coach and a lot of the work I do on myself, and maybe you've done this type of work for yourself as well, is that how can we become the best version of ourselves? What do we need to do? So my direct question to you is, do you believe, based on your experience, that regardless of where you live in the world and whatever your circumstances are, that you can turn it around where you are? Or is it a matter of getting out of whatever the environment is could be a big catalyst to help get you out of the
Yeah,
poverty?
yeah, that's good. That's a good question. It's a good question, and it's very practical. See, whenever we see around the place in the society where we live, there are so many people who are really suffering from poverty, and poverty is everywhere in the world, in every country, in different forms. But to my mind, when I look at the people, those who are poor, those who are sufferer, they want to change their lifestyle. They want to come up to different level. They want to, good economically. But when they see they cannot, do or cannot, get better life in their own locality, in their own village, they want to move to other place like other cities where they can get their livelihood or where they can get work, regularly, where they can get, good money. But to my mind, what I feel is good in globalized village. We can move to different places in search of food, but if we try ourselves in our own locality, also we can do. But human mind is such that we tried, but we have passions and we have a limited passions. Still we can survive in our own locality. We try our best, but when there is nothing, when we suffer a lot, when the condition goes worse and worse, then we get impelled. We become so bound to leave our own locality and go to another place, just for employment, just for job or any kind of work, so that we can support our family or we can get a livelihood. And but in a globalized village, I just supported like migration. But I'm not talking about professional migration, like the people who are highly qualified and a software engineer from India who aspire to go to US, like San Francisco or Washington or maybe California, in search of a job in Google or Microsoft. He or she is highly paid when he or she is a software engineer. But I'm talking about the poor people who have no dream except just to earn their livelihood, just to feed their family. A professional will be paid well wherever he goes or works. But when I'm thinking about the poor fellows, poor families, they have no dream like to go to the US, and they don't have any dream to have lots of money because they don't have such options. They have only one option, that they want to survive in the world. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate what you just shared there. We do have some other comments from your friend. Tremendous. And
Oh yes.
I truly applaud you. And by the way, if you are watching or listening, we would love to hear from you. So feel free to put any comments or questions into the comment section. So yes, I love what you just shared. And as a follow-up question to that, it's interesting, many places across the world where you can have some of the wealthiest people, and then a few miles away, there's poverty. And you wonder, what is the difference from one person being in one place and one person being in the other place? And of course, there's a lot of answers that we could give to that. But sometimes we become imprisoned in our own mind, that we believe that we aren't good enough, that we believe we could never make it and live those 2 miles away because we have these self-limiting beliefs. So I'm just wondering, you've been able to be successful in several areas. What do you think it is that you believe in that helps you conquer fear, helps you conquer doubt, and helps you conquer these questions of I'm not good enough or negativity?
Okay. So, okay. All right. So good. So, that like sometimes when a person is in trouble, like when a person is in trouble or in a very bad or miserable condition, we get doubt, we get fear. That's natural. That's obvious. That's human tendency. And every person, like whenever a person is in a troublesome situation or any problematic situation, he gets afraid of his life. He gets a lot of doubt. How I'm going to survive, what I'm going to do. Should I get a job or not? Can I help my family or not? Can I do something for my own parents or not? So doubt strike a mind because the situation makes our mind to think in a very negative way. But thing is that no bad situation in a life can stay for a long time. Rather, it comes and it passes through. So we should not allow fear or negativity all the time. It just it just strike a mind. It makes our mind feeble, but we should not allow this fear and negativity, these two elements, because in that situation these things exist. It does exist, but it passes away with the flow of time. So we should be strong enough mentally, morally, to tackle or to defend such negative elements of the fear and doubt. Like whenever we are in a bad condition or in a pathetic condition, we should not be more worried. We should not be more you know this phrase. We should not, but rather we should think that mentally that no, the negativity is there in the life, like fear is there, but one day it will be gone. It will pass from my way, and the way will be clear for me because no bad condition can stay for a long time, but no good condition sustains for a long time. Everything has its own time and its own period. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Manoj. I appreciate that. We are going to take a quick break and hear from some of our sponsors. When we come back, I would love to have you read another one of your works. I think you have 25 different pieces of original content that you have. Would you be able to read something else for us?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, fantastic. Let's take a look from two of our sponsors, Zane Carson Carruth and also Diane Floyd Bain, and we'll be right back with the Film and Music Show. Stay with us.
Hi, my name is Jane Carson Carruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating more memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Abella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book Abella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Abella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com. and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Story Garden. Your host, Diane Bain. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Diane Floyd Bain tells wonderful stories that warm the heart, spark the imagination, and unite people and families across generations. For children, Diane's Harry the Camel connects with all of us who've ever wondered how different our lives might have been if only we'd been born something better, like a wonderful horse instead of an ordinary camel. In the end, we all learn along with Harry that there's nothing better than just being yourself. Diane's little girl in the moon looks down on earthbound children and wonders if they know she's just like them. A story of love, home, and the bond between mother and daughter, its powerful theme that we're each of us different yet all of us the same plants a seed in children that promises to blossom within a loving and trusting grown-up. Diane's new biography, Rise, recounts the experiences of her grandmother, Ruby, to reveal the hidden strength of the human spirit. Ruby's story inspires all of us to become the best versions of ourselves. You'll find all of Diane's delightful books and much more at dianefloydbame.com. Visit dianefloydboehm.com. That's dianefloydbame.com.
Welcome back. Hello, everyone. This is USA Global TV and Radio, and I'm still Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. This is the Film and Music Show. We have our very special guest who's about to present one of his beautiful poems. His name is Manoj Suna. Let's welcome him back. Welcome, sir. Nice to see you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, once again.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to spotlight you. Take it away. Go ahead and read your poem, if you would, please.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am, for this great opportunity once again. So, my dear viewers, again, I'm going to read one of my poems that I have written. I wrote it last year, so it's been a year I wrote this poem, and it is based on the sacrifice that a woman does in her life. So I have written this poem on life of a lady on life of a woman. And the title of the poem is Goddess of Sacrifice. Goddess of Sacrifice. Here it goes. Bears all pans throughout her life on earth. Never she complains about any weird circumstance. Serves others, leaving her parents and family. Lives a life of sacrifice and love. Considered as inferior in the patriarchal society, never she avails dignity like her counterpart. Bears all agony and difficulties, yet she smiles hiding the sorrows. Cruel man makes disparity between he and she. He checks her before she comes to the world. She cries in her mother's womb, wants to be a better daughter. Barbaric man mothers her before arrival to the world. How can a man be compared with a woman? She's not feeble and incapable. She's so capable of doing work man can never be earned. She gives lives to the human being, bears the pain of long 9 months in her ovary. Selfish man doesn't regard her sacrifice. She's the goddess who bears all pain, a symbol of love and sacrifice a woman is in her whole life. So this poem is dedicated to all the women in the whole universe, starting from my mother, my sister, to all the beautiful women. All the women are beautiful in this universe. They are the most beautiful creation. And here I want to say, through my writing, this poem says that in 5 stanzas I have written this poem, that a woman sacrifices a lot of things in her life, but when we say the Indian context, Indian society, she is considered to be feeble, weak. The male dominant society always suppresses a woman in the family, in the nation, or in every family we see in a country. But she's the symbol of love, and she's the symbol of sacrifice. But we, the male-dominated person, we don't regard our counterpart as equal as with us. But we think that no, they are not worthy. They are not equal with us. They don't have capabilities to walk with us, to compete with us in social life or in professional life. We think this is a wrong notion. with the cruel man. Here I have written one sentence. Cruel man makes disparity between he and she. With the men, male-dominated society, we make a difference between a boy and a girl, or a boy and a girl, a man and a woman, right? uh, he checks her before she comes to the world. Sometimes in hospital, many of people do, check. They check before a baby is born. That whether when the mother is pregnant, a man checks, a man doubts because a man doesn't allow a baby girl to come to the world. Such a heinous crime or mentality of a male-dominated society, I can say, and really I feel shame on such mindset. Why? Because a woman gives life to others. Through a woman, I have come to this world. And everybody has come to this world through a woman. But we do not see the pain of a woman. Only we think, no, they are not capable. We disregard, we disrespect, we don't consider their sacrifice. We do not count them evil because we are selfish by nature. The barbaric man murders her before her arrival to this world, before the baby girl is born, comes to this world, we murder inside the ovary of her mother. Such a cruel act of man. No one can even imagine, but it is done. People do it. Such a shameful act of man. How can a man be compared with a woman? A man, I'm a man, but I say I can never be compared with a lady, with a woman. Like my mom does a lot of things. She's done a lot of things that my father cannot do in his life. Because if I'm alive, if I'm to this level, just because of my mother, if my mother killed me after my birth, I may not be today. That's the only reason. So we must be grateful to every lady, every woman in this world, because their pain we can never take, their sacrifice we can never do, their love we can never show. Because we are many of men are selfish by attitude and mentality. So I do request every man in the world to be kind to the woman, to think they are the most capable, to think to regard them as the most beautiful creation of God on this planet. That my poem speaks about the goodness, the sacrifice that a woman does in her whole life. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Wow, there's a lot to unpack there. That's really powerful. What is the type of reception or feedback you get from other men when you share this perspective?
Yeah, when I show this poem, when I posted this one last 20th of May 2022, when I wrote this poem, and I perhaps I wrote it on Mother's Day, International Mother's Day. I can't remember when I posted this poem on Facebook. So many students, so many teachers and intellectuals started giving command, and this is a reality, and it's happening. It's true. Though I imagine a lot of things, because I see when I wrote the poem, I thought about the pain. I thought about the real feeling of a woman in an Indian society, and truly speaking, it's still happening. It's still happening around the society where I'm being a part. I see them, and the people nobody could deny it. When they read the poem, they said, "Yes, it's happening." And how a woman is treated, considered in the society is true. You have given such image in your poem through your writing. They really many of the people agreed with my writing.
Thank you. Well, I applaud you for writing that and for sharing your perspective today. It's been an absolute honor to have you on our program. And our time has come to an end, sadly, but I do invite you to come on any of our other shows. We have about 40 shows that you can choose from. And I'm going to spotlight you. How can people reach out to you, and who would you like to contact you?
Yeah, anybody can contact me to have any kind of, discussion or any kind of word with me, always feel free to contact me to my Gmail, that is, Manoj Suna 2023 at the rate gmail.com. Okay, and my number is not there. I can give it, later on. So my email is already there, so one can reach me. And Facebook is also there. I always use Facebook, and I do post my writings on Facebook that anyone can access anytime.
Thank you very much. It's been an honor to meet you, and I look forward to
My
continuing to support
pleasure.
your work. All right.
Definitely,
Thank you
man.
for
Thank you,
now.
man.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Bye
much.
for now. Thanks you. Thank you, everyone, for watching, for listening, for engaging. Please go over to our YouTube channel. Wherever you're watching us, we are on many platforms. I like to direct everyone to YouTube because we get real, authentic data about who's watching, when they're watching, so we can really gear our content towards our audience. So go over to youtube.com and look for USA Global TV and Radio. I much appreciate it. All right, our next show is coming up. It's The Wise Ones, starring Mr. Red O'Loughlin and our special guest for today. So I hope that you will stay with us. We will be back in just a few moments. Bye for now.